You can also do a radio show, too.
Well, as a matter of fact, join me, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Automotive, every Tuesday at 10 for auto repair with personal care right here on The Source.
You're listening to WOCA, Ocala. Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Monday morning. You probably all know that music plays an important role in our lives, Robin and my life. We play music at a lot of different places, clubhouses. I mean, nothing big, but we play little places. So the other day, maybe a couple of weeks ago, we were playing this place, and a lady got up to start dancing all by herself, and she clearly had a few years under her belt. She was probably in her 80s or so. And she looked like she had probably been a ballerina, just the moves she was making, right? And she came up to me. I mean, she walked right in front of me, and she looked me in the eye as I'm playing the music, and then went back to dancing. And for a moment there, I saw in her face, I saw both the older lady that she had become and the young child that she once was. You know, you kind of feel like, wow. And of course, I have no idea what she was as a child, who she was, or what she went through. But I don't know anything in between either. I don't know about driving the kids to school or hardships she might have faced or wonderful things that might have happened. We're about to learn from a lady some of the things that happened to her, though. And my goodness, her memoir is so... It's the kind of memoir you don't put down.
No.
Vera Leinvebers, I hope I'm saying her name right. She's on the phone. She was a child in Latvia during World War II. She also is a talented musician. She plays piano. She's performed across Europe and North America. She teaches piano in Toronto. Is that where she is right now, Robin?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Her memoir is wonderful. It's called No Time to Cry. I can't wait to hear her for the first time. Vera Leinvebers. How are you, Vera?
I am fine. Very fine indeed.
Are you in Toronto right now?
Yes, I am, in a sunny Toronto.
Sunny, beautiful, cold Toronto.
Yes, we are used to it.
Yeah. How did I do with your last name? Pronounce your last name.
Leinvebers.
Leinvebers, okay.
Exactly. Fine.
I'll try again. So do you still teach piano?
I teach piano, I perform, and I write books. And I'm happy.
So is your memoir, is the book that we're about to talk about, No Time to Cry, is that your first memoir, or how many books have you written?
I have kind of touched bases with 8 languages. So here and there I wrote some essays and things, but they are different language. But in English, this is my very first one. And this is the memoir, or let's say my story, what happened during the Second World War when we had to leave the country. I was only 6 years old.
Oh, my goodness. You know, we were just talking about yesterday, probably because of your book, we were talking about how whenever people have left their countries, it's not because they didn't love their country, it's because the governments made it so hard to live there.
Yes, and mind you, my family and I, we were, that would not be the fact there because we were occupied, mind you, then that's a different story.
So a visiting or a conquering government, yeah.
Yeah, and then again, we were caught in a crossfire, my parents and I, and that is entirely different story because the families get separated, and I was 6-year-old, kind of trying to handle the situation on my own.
How hard was it emotionally to go back in time and relive that so that you could write the book?
You know what? It was so difficult. I started like the book now, as you see, the character is called Lara. At first I started with my own name, Vera, but it became so emotional that I had to stop for 3 months. And then I thought, wait a minute, I will not be a quitter. I will have to continue my story and tell people how I survived. So I changed the name Lara and my brother Lars so that I could continue. But it was very emotional.
Wow. Wow. Do you block that from memory, or do you? How does that contribute to the person you became, and maybe even to the music you make?
Well, I think in a way, it is difficult for me to say, but all this suffering and the cruelty and also the kindness actually in between and all that, the diversity that I think I became a very, what can I say, a better person. Not that I hardly was a person before.
Yeah.
Old,
you were 6?
Yeah. But now, now I think I have grown. Well, I live with the past, like in a way that I want to benefit by the experience and also turn everything negative behind me, and turn everything in positive and reach out to people with my emotional intelligence. And since I did, I must have been a strong person, mind you, because not every child would be able to do that. And I think because I have been the fortunate person, the chosen, I should say, to survive such atrocity and whatever I went through, is I have to help people. Tell the people how I survived, and maybe my wish is if I only can help one person in problems, then my mission is completed. It doesn't have to be only war. It can be unrest, global unrest, and natural disasters, illness, and you name it.
Yeah.
And pain is not measured by any instrument. It's pain. And how you survive, that is, if I can just give a little help, I would be so delighted. And that's why I actually wrote the book.
But you had to deal with your mother's illness also.
Beg your pardon?
You had to deal with your mother's illness also.
Oh my God, yeah. And that is when we were in the barracks somewhere in North Germany, like as refugees, and my mother became very ill with pneumonia, and see, at that point, after all, I saw the atrocities on our track. I lost my I lost my voice. I couldn't speak. I couldn't talk, and then I could only gesture, and somehow whoever guarded the barrack where we were put in to be for a while, I somehow made a soldier realize that my mother is desperately ill, so she was removed. I never knew where to, so I had to find her, but then again, it all somehow everything turned so in my way, a positive way. I found her, but what I did, some of the officers, they were again so kind. We live in such a mixed-up world. We see kindness and cruelty at the same time. Mm-hmm. And he led me up to my mother to find my mother, and then he took me away upstairs in the attic. And I was afraid, would I be there forever? No, he took me there, and he showed me that there is a piano. Mm. and then I started. I started playing, and then it was so much better for a child. But when the lady said this morning on your radio station that she read the book, that she can realize, she read probably about that actually there was a soldier and that was listening to my music. I did not know it was a vast attic there. Only the piano was there and one chair somewhere in the corner. When I left the room, then the soldier apparently had died and fell on the floor in front of me.
Oh,
I mean, all these things. But then again, life and death has become such a different meaning to me.
Yeah.
And it's hard to. Everything is kind of difficult to express in words. And maybe the best way is to write it down as much as you can.
Well, I want to hear more. The book is called No Time to Cry. Vera Leinvebers is our guest up in Toronto, and she's recalling the story that it'll embrace you when you start reading it. We're going to hear more when we come back. So hang in there, and we'll be right back. You're listening to WOCA.
Thank you.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. This Monday will feature more clouds and sun. There can be a shower at the coast, the high 77 to 81. For Monday night, partly cloudy skies, lows ranging from 57 well inland to about 65 on the coast. For Tuesday, clouds and limited sun and breezy with a shower or thunderstorm in parts of the area, high 78 to 82. Wednesday, mostly cloudy and windy with a couple of showers and thunderstorms, high 79 to 83. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
Beautiful Moments Party Rental presents the Ocala Wedding and Events Expo 2016 on March 3rd. This event has caterers, photographers, florists, musicians, plus food, fun, and more. Brides, bring your bridesmaids and friends alike. 100% of the ticket sales goes to the Inflammatory Breast Cancer Network Foundation, and they're only $15 each. So mark your calendars for March 3rd from 5 to 8:30 p.m. for the Ocala Wedding and Events Expo at Beautiful Moments Party Rentals, 3400 Southwest 60th Avenue. Questions, call 307-8180. That's 307-8180.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services. When your roof is sagging and the drywall is drooping after a storm, or your home just needs some enhancements, from damage repairs to new construction, Damage Control Services is here to help.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
All right, 12 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in, and we will continue now with our interview. Vera Leinvebers is on the phone up in Toronto. No Time to Cry is her book. It tells the story of her ordeal in war-ravaged Europe during World War II, and I just heard her tell Robin off the air that she actually witnessed her home burning down, her pianos burning. Just my goodness, Vera. Can you tell the audience what you told Robin off the air about seeing the home, your house burned down, and getting the stone?
Yes. Well, you see, I stood there by myself. I did not know where my parents were. We were separated, as I said before. And then I saw my childhood were burned with my 3 pianos. My dad gave me 3 pianos. And I, all of a sudden, were overcome by a action-oriented drive, like, no, I have to save it all, I have to save it all. There were dead birds and there were dead people and all that. And then I said, no, I have to have something from my home. I have to save my home. And what I did, I dug into the ash and found a tiny stone. And I thought, well, this is my childhood. That's all what's left of my childhood. I'll keep it dear to me. But now I'm at a dead end. Where did the middle of my life go?
Wow.
I felt like I grew old overnight.
That's a very profound thought for a little girl.
Yeah. Well, my parents kind of took care of my education.
So I'm guessing that the photo on the cover of the book is a compilation. I mean, you weren't really standing there dressed so nicely when the house was burning down, right?
Now, that is a stock book. The iUniverse created a beautiful cover for the book.
Oh, okay, I see.
That is a stock book. Some of the books, some of the pictures, all of the pictures inside are for real.
Yeah.
Somehow, one way or the other, they were produced. They are. It's me, and it's my family, and it's my lost brother who was kidnapped, and the pictures are all for real.
So when was your brother kidnapped?
It was, we went through the Nazi times, right? And that was what they did. They kidnapped the young men and just put them to work. That's it. That's it. And we never saw him. And we believe now that in the book, I could not describe it. It came all too emotional. Now on my website, www.leinvebersbook.com, I actually am putting posts on where I can kind of candidly put a little bit more of it, what happened. And we believe that on the last Christmas night that we had at my home, that my brother was shot behind the door
Well,
Wow.
Well, there was the one part of your book, the character's name. I think you gave him the name of Lars when you were offered food and milk for your parents and yourself. You at first didn't want to drink the milk because you wanted to save it for him, and then you realized he wasn't there. So then you didn't feel guilty about drinking it.
Yeah, and sometimes it came to me like. I was so very hurt by the fact that he was gone that I thought, now why would I have to have lived, and why would not he be alive instead, and all that.
Yeah.
All these thoughts come through your mind, and you were so little, but all of a sudden a little person, I don't know how, they became old. Like they started thinking, it became like adults all of a sudden.
Wow.
I don't know how that comes.
I just went to your website, Vera, and you are a beautiful lady.
Thank you.
So I love what you say, that this is not about the good guys or the bad guys. This is not about heroism or military campaigns. This is about what matters most, about the people caught in the middle of all of it. And I mean, you think about the wars of this world, they're always one government fighting another government, and all the people have to be the ones who suffer or fight. I mean, even the soldiers are caught in the middle of this because somebody like Hitler or anybody decides, okay, we're just going to take over the world.
Yeah. It is the power drive that drives us others, people like you and I and everybody else, totally in a disastrous situation.
Yeah.
And for what? For the power drive. And greed,
So how many of your family were able to make it to North America?
How many Latvians?
Yeah, no, just your family. Was it your mom?
Oh, yeah. Mom, my mom and dad, we finally, like a miracle, we're always, of course, somewhere around a bush or somewhere around a ruin or something, we found each other. And we all three came to Canada. We first went on a cargo boat from Latvia to North Germany. From North Germany with a dilapidated train to Denmark. And Denmark, that's where we settled for quite a few years. And I grew up in Denmark. And then we came to Canada.
Oh, you grew up in Denmark?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, did you leave Latvia after the war or during the war?
That was during the war. They were still fighting. We were in the middle of the crossfire.
Okay.
And
Wow.
actually, the other forces were advancing, and the other ones were, backing up, and we were in between. And I was at one point. A gun was pointed right at me. I don't recall if I wrote it in a book at that moment, but I think it is in one of my posts. That is a moment that one cannot describe, that in words. The life stops. You become a hollow. You have nothing there. You don't know that you exist, because this is a point, what can I say, Would that be a right thing to say, a point of no return or something
Just
like that?
about, yeah.
You have an amusing story about the neighbors thought that there was some kind of menace because you were practicing into the wee hours of the morning for your recital, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, you know what?
They thought you were a bad guy.
Yeah, no, the book is juxtaposition because it describes every chapter starts with my everyday kind of life, and then it bounces back to the dark times. But that is that part where I practice for my first recital in Toronto, and that I think is quite humorous. And I tried so hard to put the book to become a happy book, a book of celebration of life. It should not be a sad story. It should be a celebration of life. And here I am, and I'm happy to forward it. This is what was my intention was.
Wow.
And you have photographs too in your book.
Pardon?
You put photographs.
Yeah. How long, Vera? How long were you in the barracks?
In the barracks, wait a minute, I can tell you almost exactly, would you believe? It would be left from October to, I spent Christmas leave again, lost in the wood, in the snow in Germany. That would be January. I think it was from October to March or something like that.
Or
April.
Were you forced to stay there?
Oh yes, we were with the army, with the Nazi army. They took us there. You see, this is the situation because we were then, the communists were advancing, and the Germans just either removed or shot the people. And that's how it was a mixed situation.
Were you Jewish? You're not Jewish, right?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you one thing. I was never told who I was because my grandfather and grandmother from my father's side, they were Jewish in Germany, from Leipzig, down south there.
Okay.
And my mother's one uncle was the first foreign minister of Latvia when it became independent in 1918. And I was christened, though, so I don't know. I feel like I'm Heinz 57.
Well, but the way Hitler looked at it, if you had Jewish in your background, you were Jewish. That's how Hitler looked at it.
And you know what? This was the miracle of life because my family was the doctors in the Riga hospital. They somehow saved some of the family members, and they were all covered up. But I think somehow this cover up and whatever and the interval, how it all happened so quickly, that is why I think we are still here. I am still here.
Wow.
You know, it was a fortune somehow, and it was meant to be.
What a joy to get to hear you talk and to hear you tell your story. If you're listening and you would like a copy of the book, Vera was kind enough to send one to us. I will now give it away to a listener. Call me at 622-9622, and you can have the one that was sent to us. The rest of us have to go buy it, though.
Yes.
And Vera, I need to spell your last name for the listeners. May I do that for you?
Yes, please.
It's L as in Larry, E-I-N, V as in Victor, E-B.
No, N comes, no. L-E-I-N like Norman.
N like Norman. Yes, did I forget to say N? V as in Victor, E, B as in boy, E again, R, S. Vera Leinvebers, and then put the word book. So VeraLeinvebersBook.com. You can see it just like I did. And is the book also on Amazon?
Oh, yes, everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, Vera, you're telling an amazing story. It never ceases to end. There are so many amazing stories that come out of World War II and probably all wars. Vera, thank you for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you. This was a pleasure. Thank you so kindly.
If you're ever wanting to warm up and come to Florida...
Oh, my God. You know what? Fort Lauderdale was my base.
Oh, wow.
Fort Lauderdale. Yeah. Where is Ocala?
Ocala is about 300 miles north of Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, you know what? I just might one day come.
Come on over. Come on over.
And look you over and visit you and all this beautiful fruit I eat that you have right there in the backyard.
No wonder you're so vibrant. Vera, thank you for being on the air with us. That was a wonderful interview. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Apple wants the government to drop its demand to help the FBI hack an iPhone used by a shooter in the San Bernardino attack. CEO Tim Cook posting the message.
Cook dismissed the government's claim that Apple is acting out of business interest. FBI Director James Comey says this is about victims and justice.
It's not